So what is your take about Ibrahim Traore?
He has become a model. And I said it once, I'll say it again, even on your platform. Africa does not need democracy.
What do we need?
It's a smokescreen of lies, which allows imperialism and neocolonialism to continue. Africa needs dictators. Africa needs military dictators.
Military, not just any other dictator.
Military for security. Dictators in that they must dictate the right thing. We need people that are purposeful, cutting down the bureaucracy of democracy and getting things done. If you walk up into your parliament right now, you'll have papers the size of this room of good ideas that have never been implemented, roads that have never been finished, buildings and hospitals that have not been repaired, but budget approved and voted. It's in the pipeline. It's in the pipeline. And in the midst of that pipeline, procurement, corruption, and preferential procurement, looting and stealing is happening. How does a minister walks into a government with 50,000 shillings become a millionaire in 2 years with a salary that can't afford 3 pairs of shoes? Where does he get the money from? Any government minister who becomes a millionaire after being to a government office is a thief.
That's true. That's very true.
There's no millionaire who becomes a millionaire through government salaries. I make that statement loud and clear. So this whole concept of democracy it's a facade, the entertainment for the poor, to think that by voting a president into power, they've actually put a man in control. We need people like Traore, who wakes up in the morning and says, I need 3,000 trucks of road equipment on the road by tomorrow. And 3 kilometers from Ghana into Burkina Faso, they are there by tomorrow. I need a hospital there. I need an aeroplane manufacturing industry there. And you need to give a president power, the one who can decide, not the one who can steal, the one who can decide and make a change. We look at our countries. Look at Kenya, almost 50 years of independence.
60.
Look
63 actually.
Look at Ghana, 63. Look at Zimbabwe, 40 something. And the roads that the colonialists built, we're even battling to repair them with potholes and etc. And you wonder, for the past 45 years, what are we doing? Here's the Minister of Roads, here's the Minister of Public Works, but they simply can't get things done. So what do you need? You need a leader. Boko has picked up the signal.
Yeah.
Walks up one morning and says, no more diamonds are living here. We are going to beneficiate themselves. You look at Mali, come on, no more. Uranium is going out. We're going to benefit it here. We need Ghana, we need Kenya to say, no more coffee lives here. We will make the chocolates from here. Belgium must order chocolates made in Kenya. You can't take our coffee and take it to Belgium and says produced in Belgium. What the hell are you talking about? Who are you cheating here? You don't even have a single bush of a coffee tree in Belgium and say they're the producers of coffee. Who is lying to who? Britain cannot be the sole mother of determining the price of gold. You don't even have a quarry mine to bring me 2 or 3 dust of gold in your country. Where are you getting it from? Allowed.
Stealing.
Thuggery. That's why I called Britain Pambet for me, the home of the Tomb Raiders, when I discovered it in August. And by the way, next month, I'm going to be meeting up with Traore, with Mama Chombori and Lumumba, and 1,000 Americans who have been given citizenship into Burkina Faso. Repatriation of the African children will happen in my lifetime. I will be there when we're talking about the one Africa. You countries who are progressive, Kenya in particular, Nigeria and South Africa, big-headed, because your economies are doing very well. May God bless you. The rest of Africa will start marching behind young men such as Ibrahim Traore. 3 countries are in: Mali, Niger, Burkina Faso. Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, and Zambia are opening their borders to each other. You, Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, I wish you can make this thing much more active. And if these 3 in the north, 4 in the south, 3 in the center, 4 plus 3 plus, we already have 13 countries that are already thinking in one space.
Ibrahim Traore is that African success story that we are going to be talking about for years to come. And I hope and pray that he does what the people in Burkina Faso need the most. That he look across Burkina Faso and identify some of the challenges that the Burkinabés are going through and try his best to solve them. Now, he cannot solve everything. I understand that. He cannot just fix the country in entirety. but he can do things that local people in Burkina Faso will be proud of. And like the speaker in the video said, I think this is a very famous person in Africa and he is very smart. I have watched a couple of his videos, even though there are some points that I don't agree with, like his whole take on transgender agenda and it being a Western influence that has just been set on Africa or is being rolled out in Africa to kind of like destroy the African way of life or, I don't know, broke the African spirit. On that, I think he was totally, in my own opinion, he was wrong. But on this, he is very correct. Okay, he is very correct. I try my best to give credit where it's due, right? I think that, like he said, Africa, let me put it this way, let me rephrase. The problem in Africa is not democracy or the lack of it thereof. The problem is Africa, I will say this one more time, is not whether or not we have democracy. That's not the problem. The problem in Africa is bad governance. We have people who are not interested in governing, but just in power. They just want to be in charge of the office without really performing the duty of that office, without really doing the functions of that office. We have many of them across the continent. They enjoy the privileges that come with occupying a position, but they don't want to carry out the functions of that position. That is the problem in Africa. So when a person like Ibrahim Traore comes in, someone who is from the military, someone who, in my own opinion, would want discipline. Now, there is no proof that he might not be corrupted. There is no proof that he might not be corrupt. But there is proof that he is fixing the nation, that he wants the nation to grow, that he wants Burkina Faso to have food to eat. That is the primary function of a leader. Your people are your first priority as a leader. And if you cannot take care of the people, then you are a failure. Any leader across the African continent who is not taking care of his or her people is a complete failure. It doesn't matter whether they are democratically elected or not. I tell people that what we need is good leadership. That's what we need. What we need is someone with vision, someone with aspirations, someone who can get things done. Not just anything, but something that is of benefit to the huge number of the population. That's the kind of person we need. We don't need someone who will be spending their time talking about same-sex issues. We don't even need that. To my opinion, we don't even need that. We don't even need to waste our time discussing about who people sleep with. To me, that's a non-starter. We don't need that. What we need to be talking about is, have those people eating? Do those people have good jobs? Can they take care of their families? Are they being paid? That is what we need to be talking about. Not whether or not a person was voted in by the people. Not whether or not we practice democracy. By the way, democracy is a smoke screen. It's just a lie, one big lie being cooked up by Westerners. You think America, what they do is democracy. Now, let's be clear. America has certain privileges, or Americans have certain rights and privileges and liberties in their own country. That is true. But do you think what they are doing is democracy, where they have two parties, and those two parties put forward two candidates, and you have to choose just within those two candidates? And those two candidates are all beholden to the elites, to the special interest group, to the billionaires. How is that democracy? But for some reason, we Africans have been brainwashed into thinking that when you have one person, one vote, then that's the best system we could ever have. No, it's not. It is not. There are many countries in Africa that from time to time go to the ballot box or boxes and cast their votes for one person or the other. And after that, nothing changes. Their lives stay the same. The countries stay the same. No development. Nothing. So let me say it one more time. What Africa needs are good leaders, not democracy. Because if you have been paying close attention on what has been ongoing all over the world, you would have realized by now that the whole democracy of a thing is just a farce.